Hey, Van of Valor fans, we're here with Jeff Dawson, an amazing EOD technician, Special Forces Ranger, a Distinguished Service Cross, 2 Purple Hearts, and a real life hero. But before the Army, like what made you? Where are you from? And why?
Yeah, so I feel like I have kind of like a unique story when it comes to joining the Army. I was raised in Utah, Mormon religion, kind of that stuff, and kind of raised against violence, kind of.
Okay.
But my parents divorced when I was young, and then my mom started dating this guy that was in the Army. And he taught me a lot of discipline. He taught me a lot of things and structure. He added stability and structure into my life as a young boy. But that was kind of like the extent of my any kind of military
Yeah.
presence throughout the majority of my childhood. So
Where were you raised?
in Utah.
Utah.
Yeah, Salt Lake City area. I was
Right,
born in
okay.
Colville and then moved to Salt Lake City after that and spent many
Okay.
years there.
Okay.
And then Ogden, Ogden, Provo, a couple different other places around Utah.
Yeah.
But as I got older, I was kind of like I didn't really know what to do. But I had some trauma from my younger years that kind of like fueled my passion for being busy and
Yeah.
being the best I could at everything that I did. So that kind of like helped me as I got into the military. But as I was getting like older, I signed up for college. I couldn't even afford my books to go to school. So basically, I canceled all that, and I was working in a warehouse, and it sucked. And like one of the guys that I was working with, he was like, "Hey, I'll give you the name of my recruiter. I'm joining the Army."
Yeah.
And so I talked to a couple buddies that I had that were in the Marine Corps, and they thought, hey, that sounds like a good idea. Don't go to the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
That's what they said. But not that there's anything against the Marine Corps, but
I get it.
it was just like as far as like quality of life and everything in the military, like they were just like, hey, go to the Army, and that I could get EOD right out off the street. So I could sign up for EOD. They had a good sign-on bonus at the time. So
Why EOD? Why EOD?
I was kind of like one of the things that they said. I took the ASAB. I gave them my buddies a list of jobs that I qualified for, and EOD was one of them. They're like, whoa, hey, in the Marine Corps you have to be a non-commissioned officer before even going into the EOD billet. So that's not like you can't just go right in from the streets, into EOD in the Marine Corps. So they thought that was really cool that you could just go straight into that job in the Army. So they're like, man, one of my buddies was a combat engineer, Juan. I love him to death. He was a combat engineer, and he just advocated for blowing stuff up and explosives.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like I had that kind of mentality growing up. I like to play with fireworks. I like to improvise fireworks when I was growing up. So not that it was really that big of a deal. I didn't get too crazy into it. I still have all my fingers and toes, but I did like to have some fun.
You have 2 Purple Hearts, though.
I do
So
have
we'll
2.
get to that. But like, you've not been a stellar EOD tech if you've blown yourself up twice.
Well, one of them was a suicide vest that was blown up. And
I'm just messing with you, by the way.
coincidentally, there was a guy that stepped on a pressure plate a little bit later that night that I was close to.
Iraq?
It was in Afghanistan.
Yes.
I was, and then the next time was when I got shot.
Okay.
So it was not really like EOD related things that, I mean, you're not going to stop as a guy with a suicide
You're really good at
vest,
your
but-
job. You'll disarm anything.
I mean, like, it's one of those things. It's like you go into that job with that mentality. It's like you have to disassociate. You have to kind of put yourself in this space where things don't really matter to you. Like you have to kind of go into. I want to say this is a quote from me, but like you have to go into a situation like, do I cut this wire or that wire? Like, if I'm wrong, it's suddenly not my problem.
Yeah.
Be okay with that.
Yeah.
So if you can have that kind of mentality and go do your work, then you'll probably be okay.
Shit.
I feel like it does take a special person to become an EOD technician. It's just,
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, but there's other jobs in the military. It takes a special person to do that. You know, like I'm
Yeah.
sitting here working with the Rangers, and you know, like their job is to kick doors in and run into rooms with unknowns.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
that's not my job. You know,
Yeah.
I'll be there with them and do it, but that's not my job. You know, like even when we're in situations like that, like first you're looking for a threat, next you're looking for explosive threats. You know, like anything that can immediately hurt you. So I mean, there's a very like a flow of things that has to happen whenever you're working with in a direct action capacity with EOD technicians or with special operations, I guess, but.
But you were direct action. You were
I was
direct
a direct
action
action
EOD.
EOD technician, but I assessed for that unit at the
Yeah.
28th, and I was picked up, and they trained me up. You know, they did everything that they had to do to make sure I was prepared for any situation that I could find myself in. You know,
How did that training go? Like, walk us through that training if you don't mind.
So it's changed a little bit from whenever I joined, but it's basically like you'll come to the unit and then they will put you through all the basics. They'll teach you thought process. They'll teach you logic. You know, kind of like work your way through different. Like they'll give you a flow chart. Like if it's this, then go to here. If it's this, then go to there. So it kind of like really flows. And you have to be able to react quickly, you know, so we work on these kinds of things. We have to put ourselves in a situation and have to be able to react in a moment's notice. And the more you put yourself in those situations, the better you will ultimately react when something happens, you know? So like if the shit hits the fan, you're going to revert to your lowest form of training. You're like your building blocks, you know, your muscle memory. You know, if your muscle memory is all the way is so precise, then that's what you're going to rely on. You know, when your brain kind of like goes onto autopilot, it's like your fight or flight kind of thing. You're going to fight or flight, but you really have to, like, the more you work on those things, the better you become at it. You know, like you got these Delta Force operators that are going into a room to clear it, and as soon as they walk in, they take a snapshot of that room, and then they can see, they've been trained to see threats, like know if someone's holding a weapon, you know, and they key in on those things immediately. It's not too much different in the capacity that we're working with the Rangers or other special operations forces, you know, like, so we go into a room, we're trained to look for specific things or things that stand out as like weird. And that could be anything. So you really have to be on the top of your game, and because it could be anything. So,
can you walk us through a scenario where you arrived on scene and were able to assess what was happening right away, or?
Well, I mean, so for me, like the situation in 2013 that we were talking about earlier is kind of like one of those scenarios.
When you earned the Distinguished Service Cross and a Purple Heart, I think. Your second Purple Heart.
That was my first Purple Heart.
Okay.
So that night, we basically went out on this it was supposed to be a quick mission, and we landed in the middle. It was like a split infill. They had half of the platoon went to one NAI, and half went to the other NAI, and we were kind of just in the middle of nowhere. So we land, and immediately everything is like kinetic. One guy runs off.
Afghanistan.
Yes.
Okay. Which area?
It was in Kandahar.
Kandahar. Okay.
Down south. So immediately one guy runs off, and we start chasing after him. There's two people in the compound, and we get there was some confusion on the ground, but we get to where we're going, and we're kind of like talking to the guys back at the compound. I'm with the element that's chasing after the guy, and we get kind of like, I would say probably like 100 meters from him, and then there's detonations back at the compound, which were not planned, that I had no idea about. And so I got on the net and I asked what was going on. Didn't hear anything. So basically recommended that we get this guy and then get back to the compound as quickly as possible. So that's kind of what we did. We got up close to him. He ended up, the dog jumps on him. He ends up blowing himself up. And then we returned fire because it was kind of like unsure what was going on. Make sure that there was no threat there. Threw a couple of grenades, make sure that everything was neutralized, and then kind of like repostured and made our way back to the compound, collected the remains from the dog and everything. That was the dog handler that did that.
The dog handler was killed?
No, the dog was killed, not the handler.
dog.
So
Okay.
coincidentally, later on, that was like I told you that someone stepped on a pressure plate next to me. That was the dog handler
Okay.
later on that night. But so on our way back to the, I got some fragmentation in my leg, which ended up being pretty insignificant. But we made our way back to the compound, and I was like, I led everyone in there into the compound, and kind of like from there it was like I was just going to clearing to casualties. So when I got there, there was one casualty that was still living that had stepped on a pressure plate. So, and one of the medics was working on him. So I ended up clearing one of our an additional medics. It was a PJ to him, and then so they could work on that guy who ended up actually expiring a little bit later.
Your medic was a PJ?
No, we had a medic and a PJ.
Okay.
On that in that scenario. And we made our way, so I made my way back and we established like a casualty collection point, but it was like in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
And at that point, I kind of like started taking a moment to look around and start my searches, and I cleared to one of the casualties, got him back to the CCP. I started clearing to the female, the CST, and found like 2 IEDs on my way to her. And then on the third one that I found, I was like telling the platoon sergeant, like, "Hey, man, there's stuff everywhere. Like this is no joke. Like
booby traps everywhere."
Yes, there's IEDs everywhere. And so I was kind of like starting to put things together in my head about how it was working, and came up with the conclusion that like there's a ton of pressure plates out there, probably like 40 or 50 IEDs total in like a 100-meter stretch, but there was like a center wire, and then they all branched off of that.
And the female, was she bait? Was she bait?
The female that was killed?
Yeah.
No, the female that was there when we got there?
Well, that you were like the PJ and the medic were working on.
No, she was the cultural support team female. So that that Guerrera docuseries that I was just telling you about, that's kind of like, that was the special operations females that were working with them. That's kind of the story about them.
Okay.
And that's kind of how we got involved in that story. So,
are you good?
yeah, I'm good.
You want to stand?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
So, let's see. We got... where's I at? So I cleared to Jenny Moreno, and they kind of told the platoon sergeant, like, "Hey, there's shit everywhere here." So he asked me to clear a route out. So I did. I cleared a route out, cleared an HLZ, made sure everything was like good to go. On my way in from that's when the dog handler stepped on the pressure plate next to me. He lost his legs. I got fragmentation wounds to my left side of my body, upper left torso, ruptured eardrum, and immediately went over and started helping the medic with him. Started putting tourniquets on. Like I put his tourniquet on his leg, and it broke. And the medic, hey, put pressure here on his femorals. So I put pressure on his femorals, and ended up, the medic ended up getting tourniquets on him, getting him packaged up.
Did he live?
He lived, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, man. He was one of the 2 that lost a limb from a pressure plate incident that night that actually lived, out of the 6 that total that were that ended up stepping on the pressure plate. So he was just he's extremely lucky.
Six people.
4 people were killed that night. I think they ended up giving out like maybe 28 Purple Hearts total from that night specifically.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was like I would say the largest casualty producing event since Mogadishu for the 3rd Battalion Ranger Regiment.
Wow.
So it was a very significant night. And then from like an EOD standpoint, afterwards, I like went into, because there was not really anything that we had seen that complex, but also, in any theater at all.
Yeah.
We saw some complex stuff out in Iraq, but it was just different in Afghanistan. They're kind of like,
You were 3rd Battalion.
I was with 3rd Battalion.
So you were a reservist.
No, I was with 3rd Battalion. So it's kind of weird how our
Hunter Army Airfield.
No, I was stationed here at Bragg.
Okay.
So our unit still is here out of
Okay.
Bragg. We're just in a weird spot how it falls.
Yeah.
We fall under the parent battalion, but we also fall under other places when we're deployed and stuff. So it's kind of like we have access to different things that typically that we wouldn't have access to if we didn't have the unit that we had. So.
3rd Special Forces Group?
No, 3rd Battalion Ranger Regiment.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was with.
What I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're here out of Bragg, but we support all the battalions.
Okay.
So we have guys that support 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Yeah.
And we kind of just TDY to those places to train with them, get all the things that we need to get taken care of. We just get all this taken care of. So. So I was with 3rd Battalion that deployment. I did 4 deployments with 3rd Battalion. I did 3 deployments with 1st Battalion as EOD support for them. And let's see. Anyways, well that night we kind of like after I got blown up the 2nd time, it was kind of like the need for QRF was already on the way with 2 fresh EOD techs. And the need for them was higher because I couldn't hear out of my ruptured eardrum. I was bleeding. There was rocks all over my body. I mean, not that I was like incapacitated. I was still working. I still clearing routes. I still cleared people from blocking positions. I still cleared casualties out. And then eventually they told me like, hey, we have fresh EOD techs. You're leaving. You're getting out of medevac. You're getting out of here. So I did. So regardless of what I said, I tried to stay there, and they would not let me. So they're like, "That's fine. You're leaving. Don't. You're not staying here." So that was the end of my night for that. It still did get pretty sketchy after I left. There were still several more detonations. One of the EOD techs ended up getting incapacitated after I left, and then the other one. It was a miraculous night.
Yeah.
That things just worked out the way that they did for everything to still be to be how it is right now. So it was a really terrible night. The Rangers recognized us for it. And it was just really one of those things, like not a lot of people. You asked about like what is the training like? What are you training for? What are you looking at doing? Like. This was like one of the worst EOD scenarios that you could possibly walk in on. The way it was all set up, the way where all the pressure plates were, it was done on purpose.
Yeah.
We had all avenues of approach that were cut off in all directions except for one, which is the most likely approach for a medevac, and that's exactly where we had it.
Complete ambush.
Yeah. So I think they waited for us to get into position and then armed all of the pressure plates at the same time from one battery.
Remotely.
No, just like connected onto a car battery or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know though. Like there's still some unknowns from that night, but I feel like we got a pretty good handle on what happened. But that's the kind of stuff that like I was thinking about when I was going out on target, like it's not just finding IEDs or keeping people safe from them. It's like figuring out how things work, what could possibly be here or there, like you're looking at weird things, and like there was a moment from that night I was on my knees like this with a light and I was looking out and I could just see IEDs everywhere just from shadows from my light.
Wow.
So that's kind of like how we train to find things at night.
Are you okay right here?
Yeah. So that's how we kind of train to see things. Like we key on things that are just weird.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to explain. But you get repetitions. You get you put in as much training as you can, so that way you're proficient.
Yeah.
And that way when incident happens, you're ready to go with whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Um,
How does that transpose or juxtapose to the civilian world? Like, you're keyed in on, I don't know, like an animal corpse that's weird. Like, it shouldn't be right there right now.
mm-hmm.
And I'm just wondering, out here in the civilian world where, like, oftentimes things just don't make a whole hell of a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You must see threats everywhere.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
You know, like, I feel like there is some level of disassociation that comes to that. I feel like my whole thing was like, even when I was going through EOD school, it was, if I was in EOD school, I was giving everything that I had to EOD school. When I was not in that situation, it was the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
You know, we couldn't take our homework home. We couldn't study outside of class. So, when I was outside of class, that was the last thing I was thinking of. You know,
Yeah.
I did party my ass off when I was down in EOD school. But that was my time to cut loose, you know. And then when it came time to be in class, I was there. You know, I was present. I did everything that I needed.
You were already an NCO too.
I was not.
No,
I was a specialist. I came in as an E3, and then I got promoted to specialist after I graduated EOD school. So
Okay.
so I was just a private.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. But I did have some experience before I joined the Army. So I didn't join straight out of high school. I went and got a job. I tried to sign up for college and had some real world experience before joining. So that way, when I did join, I had a little bit of experience under my belt, not just like fresh out of school.
Yeah.
I had some I knew what it was like to be miserable. You know, like I worked for a little while, and I pinched pennies, and I really had to budget and sacrifice comfortability so I can pay my bills and stuff. You know, so it's kind of like one of those things. Like, do I want to go do this tonight? Well, I do want to do this, but can I afford it? No, I can't. So I'll just do something else. That doesn't cost money. So I had to, you know, and I feel like the times that you are in those situations when things are miserable and you have to like go out of your way to continue to be miserable, I feel like those times are the ones that you find that you learn a lot more about yourself. You know, because you're just there with yourself, and you know, sometimes there's no like distractions. There's no one asking you like to take your presence away from what you're focusing on. So you're just stuck there with all your shit.
Yeah.
You know, that's the best place you can be to learn about yourself. So I feel like I was able to take that and learn what I had to from those things and apply those experiences into later when I joined the military. You know, like
that focus though, is that it seems to be you got a lot of airborne stuff happening over here. That seems to be not just a quintessential aspect of an EOD tech, but part of the main ingredients that make that person is you can slow everything else down and see things, right?
Yeah.
Like you can see, I don't know, I'm speaking purely as an observer, but EOD guys, when they come up on a scene, see things that other people don't see. You just slow everything down, and
it's because we train. I mean, we really do train very hard. And there's so many different aspects of the EOD job that it's not just one thing. It's not just explosives. It's not just IEDs. It's not bombs. It's all kinds of stuff. I mean, we play a huge role in collecting evidence, preserving evidence from a scene. You know, like you can get fingerprints from tape, you can get biometrics from DNA from wire twists. You know, like even the way that people would put together their devices has a signature to it. You know, so when you get all this stuff, we're not like just people out there, that have a job. I mean, like we are people that have several jobs, so like we're not just the explosives guys. We're collecting evidence. We're submitting this evidence. We're helping triage that stuff. There's EOD technicians in triage,
Yeah.
in these labs, working in labs where they're collecting fingerprints. They're collecting DNA. They're matching it with. They're putting everything into the system so you can see like, oh, this IED was kind of like over here and now it's kind of trended over to this area of the country. So they can kind of see where the money's going. They can kind of see where builders are going. They can see where IEDs are going, and that kind of helps the whole historics of the entire country. So when you get all that stuff and you put it together, like it's like you'll bring stuff back from mission and then hand it over, and then they put all that stuff in the system, and then it's like, okay, now that builds more targets for us to go after. That builds better historics for the area, so we have a little bit more of an idea of what's going on when we go into that place, so we have a better idea of what the threat is going to look like. So that way we kind of have, when we brief the guys before we would even go out, we would kind of tell them like, here's the threat level, it's either high or medium or low, and because of this kind of thing. So that kind of lets them know how vigilant they should be, kind of. But sometimes it's just a mixed bag. Sometimes you don't know. Like the night that we went out on that in 2013, it was a low threat. There wasn't a single IED.
What day in 2013?
October 5th.
October 5th. Is this an alive day for you?
Yeah, I mean,
It's the day you earned the Distinguished Service Cross.
That was the October 5th, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say my alive day is in 2019 when I got shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the two, pick them and walk us through it. Which one do you want to go with? The live day or Army Cross? Like that's a big deal.
The service cross is definitely more significant. And then also, like when I got shot, it was like a sensitive subject. The guy that shot me was sensitive. It was just who I was working with was a sensitive subject.
Okay. Friendly fire?
It was friendly fire. Who it was that shot me was like not really supposed to be there, maybe even. No, that doesn't need to be in here. But
no, I actually understand. I got shot with friendly fire in the back plate.
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my plates did not matter.
Yeah.
Because it came in through my right arm, like through my chest, and hit my left shoulder blade.
Oh my God.
So, which would paralyze me from the collarbones down, essentially.
Yeah.
So, both stories are good. And
we're gonna do both in.
Pretty significant, but.
Let's do Distinguished Service Cross.
What's that?
Let's do the Distinguished Service Cross the night of October 5th.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. It was there was IEDs everywhere. We worked our way into it, and then it was like I was the only EOD technician on the ground. I was responsible for clearing people out of the area, the hazardous area.
You make it sound very routine, but you earned a Distinguished Service Cross.
To be honest with you, like that's my job, And I was thinking about it a little bit, and like a lot of these things, people are operating, they're working off of like their own ambition, they're just like they're making the decisions themselves, they're doing this stuff.
These are rangers, or
I'm just saying, people in these like you go through this whole museum, you read any story about someone doing something valorous, and it was like they acted on their own, they acted without any safety, their own personal safety, regardless of their own personal safety. This difference in my situation was that like I was being ordered to do these things. It was like I was being told to do my job.
Okay.
Like I wasn't acting out. It was like, hey Jeff, go over here and do that. Hey, go clear these people out. Go do this. Go over here. Go do that. And it was like that's what I was doing. I was just reacting to everything the whole night. And it was like I had to do it methodically. I had to do it, safely. But I was just reacting. Like when I put tourniquets on Josh, it was like I walked up to the platoon sergeant. I was like, "Am I good? I just got blown up." He's like, "Can you breathe?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can breathe." He's like, "Put tourniquets on Josh, or go help with Josh." So I'm like, that's what I did. I was like, it wasn't like, "Oh shit, I got blown up. I should go help Josh." I made sure I was okay first, and then I went to go do whatever I was going to do next. And then like
the bomb detonated
when he stepped on it. Yeah.
Okay. Josh.
Yeah. The dog handler that lost his legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. That's kind of like the big difference, like I don't think that there was some talk about like my award getting upgraded. I don't think that will happen potentially, really, because of the fact that I was not like acting on my own. I was being told to do my job versus like going and just doing my job.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, this guy over here needs my help. I'm gonna just go over here and do this.
Where you could only upgrade one direction. Like
Right.
there's
Yeah. I mean, there's been talking about it for years, and I'm just kind of like over whether or not. I mean, it's not like over whether or not it's going to happen, but I was like, I don't foresee it happening.
Yeah.
I don't, because of those.
In your heart, are you a Medal of Honor recipient?
No.
Are you a Distinguished Service Cross?
I mean, I did my job.
Bro.
I did my job.
Bro. You did.
The award's not really about me, honestly, though. It's not. It's about the people that were there that lost, that didn't come back. You know, like I wish that I could have done more. I do wish that I could have done more. That being said, I don't know that it would have looked any differently if someone else from my unit was there, because we all kind of like, we don't do the same things. We don't at all. Like, we're not like trained to do the same things. You could, like the 1,000 ways to skin a cat kind of mentality. Like, you can bring a problem to someone, you're going to have 100 different ways that they can deal with it, and maybe none of them are wrong, but there's some similarities, pretty much, for every scenario.
Yeah.
So, kind of like, I don't think that it would have been much different, but if someone else was there for my unit, but it was still a shitty night.
Yeah.
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 But unfortunately, those are the things we train on. Like, that's a normal training day for us.
Yeah.
We would often
But
set
it's
up.
not. It's not sim rounds. It's not.
No, I'm not talking about sim rounds. We would set up IEDs for each other. We were like a lane of IEDs, like 100 meters
Yeah.
under nods in the forest or in the trees or whatever. And it's like, there's IEDs in this 100-meter stretch. Go find them.
Yeah.
Or get us from A to B safely.
You, not a dog.
Yes.
You sniff
me
them out
as
with
human.
your nose.
Get us from A to B safely down this 100-meter stretch that's littered with IEDs.
Yeah.
Get us there safely. These are the kind of scenarios we put up for each other. Like
How many soldiers do you think are alive because of you did your job right? Hundreds?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I know that we did not find any IEDs unnecessarily, other than that one night.
Yeah.
You know, any missions that I have been on, like, no one has been injured from an IED event other than that one night. And that was like that was my first deployment with Ranger Regiment. It was just like with Special Operations. It was kind of like that was like the intro to what this was going to be like. That was my first deployment. I did 6 more after that. You know, and
When were you injured? Did you see the Purple Heart? On which deployment of that subsequent?
with Purple Heart.
Two down. You have 2. So
Yes. So I got the first Purple Heart, my first deployment. The second Purple Heart, my last deployment when I got shot.
Shit. Okay.
And it's kind of weird because like we've talked about like these things pretty in depth, but it kind of seems like the nights are together.
Yeah.
You know, like I got shot and blown up the same night.
Yeah.
But they were 7 years apart. It's just that like they just I don't know, they just get blended together.
Both
somehow.
Kandahar?
No, one was in Ghazni.
Okay.
I got shot in Ghazni.
Okay. What happened that night?
We were just going out to on a presence patrol. Really, it was nothing like we were just going to stir up stuff. You know, really, and we got contact from a barricaded shooter, and so we kind of ran up to the front of the element to see like what was going on, and realized that this dude had barricaded himself in there. So we're kind of like, we went back to an adjacent compound, kind of got into the courtyard, and we were overwatching this position. So we're looking at the building that the guy was shooting at our element from, but he was shooting this way towards our element. So we're kind of like looking at him from a 90 degree, and we could see like muzzle flash in there. It was not like anything really that we could see in there, but I had an idea that we could go up there, get a little bit closer, and I was talking to one of the guys about it, and he said, "Hey, that's a great idea." And kind of right around that time, I heard something behind me, and I looked back behind, and that's when I felt like I got hit in the head really hard.
You were shot in your Kevlar.
No, it was like came in my shoulder.
Okay.
So basically, like as I was looking kind of like back this way, and it kind of went in my shoulder, went through my chest, and hit my left shoulder blade. Just collapsed me right there.
Yeah.
So where I was straddling this ditch, I was no longer straddling the ditch. I was sitting in it. And I was like, looking at my legs, like, are these my legs? And I looked up at my boots, and I saw those were my boots. I said, these are my boots. These are my legs. I said, hey, doc, something's wrong with me. And he said, what do you mean? Like, what's wrong with you? I said, I don't know. I think I got shot.
Yeah.
And he said, what do you mean you think you got shot? I said, I can't feel my legs. And he asked if I could climb out of the ditch, which I couldn't. My collarbone was like jacked up with like in a million pieces. And so I couldn't really do anything with my right arm. And so they basically deconflicted and got me out of there, got me packaged up. The notes about when I got shot, like against all odds, I'm still here somehow.
It came through your shoulder, straight across your chest, out your arm.
It didn't go out, it stayed in. It hit my left shoulder blade, fractured that. So I had essentially my collarbone was fractured. They ended up putting like a plate with 11 screws in that. It broke my second and third ribs, collapsed and lacerated my right lung. Broke, and then I had a lamina fracture on my T3 vertebrae. It exposed my spinal cord from T1 to T8. It's called epidural hematoma. And then collapsed my left lung, and then fractured my left scapula, which is where the bullet stopped.
Shit.
The left side there.
Is it still there?
No, they took it out, and then eventually it got infected, and they ended up cutting it out. But I do still have the bullet, which thankfully, it's kind of like a small world kind of story, but so in 2013 when I was deployed, the company commander was Captain Pete Lazinski. When I got shot, he was the aide-de-camp for JSOC. And so whenever I got shot, he said, hey, we need to go see this guy when he gets to Walter Reed. So like within hours of me getting to Walter Reed, the JSOC commander was there to greet me.
Shit.
And I thought that was a really cool, like, it made me feel really important. I thought that was a really cool thing.
You are, bro.
What's crazy is it took my command 2 weeks to get to me, and they live an hour and a half or 2 hours down the road. So it's kind of like a weird spot, like I belong to my parent battalion, but these other guys that I don't even belong to they made it a point to be there hours within me getting there.
It's a special community.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
Yeah.
Nothing against the EOD command that didn't really come and see me within a couple weeks, but I still feel like that's kind of significant. They should probably have been there. A little bit sooner, but whatever.
Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of people that care about me. I mean, there was like a line outside of the door wrapped around the hallway down in Walter Reed for people to come see me. It was really wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know my wife cares about you. I know when I was like talking to children doing art, so I honestly, it was just a lot happening that night, and I was dealing with these children, and I didn't somehow you and I didn't really talk. And she's assured me about you and who you are, and I think there's something there that JSOC came to see you that night. I think that's a lot about you, not about the job, not about what you did.
Yeah, maybe.
You got to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that I, during my service in the military, I did try really hard to leave people with a good impression of me. Just, I feel like networking is really important. I had other things that I struggled with too, but I wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
But I tried.
But you got shot all the way across. on the 6th deployment. And when did you earn
Seventh.
7th?
That was my 7th with the regiment, 8th
Seventh.
total. Yeah.
8th. All with all Ranger
No,
deployments?
I did an deployment in Iraq with a conventional unit here from
Okay.
Bragg.
But
Yeah.
all EOD.
All EOD.
Conventional deployment may be worse. Like you're going out to disarm bombs like IEDs on the regular.
It's different. It's definitely a different mission set,
Yeah.
for sure. I do feel like I did more work in the first couple weeks in Afghanistan, even though we didn't really do that much. I felt like I did more work in Afghanistan than I did in Iraq, even in the first couple weeks. But that's just because when I got to Iraq, there was not very much going on. I mean, we did have a big truck. We had robots and bomb suits and all kinds of tools and gear that we drove around.
These things.
All these things.
These
right here.
things.
Which was not my responsibility. I was a team member, so I actually drove the robot. That was my job. I drove the robot. I did not put the bomb suit on. I was not like out of the truck going to look around for IEDs and stuff. That was not my
Hurt
thing.
locker.
Yeah.
Hurt locker.
Yeah, that's what they say.
That's what I feel like over here.
Yep. Well, yeah. I mean, it was just a different deployment, you know. So, but we still were able to do some really good work. I mean, there was IEDs that went off when we responded to. We got a lot of really great evidence, and that was my opportunity to kind of learn the conventional side, where there's a chain of command for evidence, and taking it to the lab and kind of like picking those guys' brains about how they do what they do and what they're doing, because I think it would be really cool.
CID or three-letter H?
No, they had a different cell. It was like in Iraq, it was SFC, the combined exploitation.
I remember
cell.
SFC. Yeah.
In Afghanistan, it was Acme, and they had Afghanistan captured material exploitation cell or something, you know, whatever. I don't know what they, but they had Acme and a couple of other different cells that did a couple other things.
And they're suing Iran, so Iran was like supplying a shit ton of that, yeah.
I mean, yeah, all kinds of stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was, I mean, they definitely got a lot of that stuff from Iran.
Yeah.
They had the money and they had the machines to really make some very specific items that they can use against us.
And it's, I don't want to say threatless, but more or less threatless. If you can like set a pressure plate, or you can set a bomb and just walk away, like set a booby trap for Rangers coming through.
I mean, there is some threat, and a lot of those guys do. I'm going to say a lot, but it's not outside of the realm of possibility for them to be involved in an incident while they're setting something like that up. You know, because they just
they don't know what they're doing.
There's a lot of times they don't actually build the device. It's like they get it with instructions, like, hey, place this here, flip this button, or flip this switch, push this button, walk away, you know, kind of thing. So like they don't really know what they're doing, because like this guy right here will get the supplies, or these two guys will get the supplies and they'll put it here, and then this guy will build it, and then he'll hand it off to the next guy with the instructions.
Yeah.
And then he hands it to the other guy who places it and actually follows the instructions. So it's like very removed, typically very removed from all that. But yeah, there's a possibility. I mean, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen videos of people putting stuff in and getting blown up.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about like, I don't know, diesel mechanics. I think about like helicopter mechanics. I think about like jet engine mechanics. I think about a variety of MOSs, a variety of jobs that a soldier, insert whatever you want there, can like learn to do. But EOD, man, like you leave the military and what do you do with that?
Like I said, man, there's a lot of things you could do from an EOD perspective, because it's not just explosives. I mean, you're looking at intel collection, evidence collection. You're looking at intel stuff. So you could potentially work in the intel realm. You know, you could work in.
What about like a fine artist? Is there fathomable that someone could just like take this crazy world and make art out of it?
Yeah,
Is it?
I think it is.
Okay.
Because
I agree.
Explosives in general are very energetic, and we have used explosives to weld metal together. We've used explosives to shape metal or shape different things. Like we have.
How does that work? Like the intensity of the fire is a frequency, is a color, or
Pressure. You're looking at pressures. So, like,
Okay.
have you seen that? I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's like a, I want to say like a ball. It's like a ball, but it has straight edges. It has straight edges, and then they blow something up inside of it, and it basically forms a circle, a sphere, a perfect sphere.
never seen that? No.
I have to look it. I have to look it up, and
Yeah.
so I mean, explosive forming. You can use explosives for so many different things. It's and then coming into like the science part of that, like with water, you can use water to help tamp things because it's not compressible. And you can just use different things in your environment. That's why one of the things I love so much about EOD was that like you just had so much of an ability to improvise, or like there's a way to do things, but there's also not a way to do things.
Yeah.
So you're able to kind of like figure it out on your own, and then you kind of figure out what works, and then you can show other people like, hey, this is what worked for me, this is what didn't work for me, and then we're all learning from it, kind of thing. So also goes back to the 1,000 ways to skin a cat. Just because you did something different than me doesn't mean you're wrong. And from like a leading perspective, like you have to take that, and like you have to take that with you like everywhere you go, because there's a lot of people out there that are like, I did it this way, I do things this way, I do things this way, you need to do things this way, you need to do things the same way. But for me, it was like, as long as you didn't violate any kind of like safety or some huge protocol, then, and you did it safely, you did it efficiently, I have nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like you didn't do anything wrong. It's not the way I would have done things, but also not wrong. Kind of. So, but you're talking about like kind of transitioning out to the civilian sector. There's so many different things. Like the EOD umbrella is like, it's chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, explosive. We're doing electrical stuff. We're doing with the chem bio stuff, like there's just there's so many different things that you could go into. It's like the jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing.
Yeah.
So whenever you get out, there's like 100 different fields that you could potentially qualify for as being a subject matter expert in any of those fields, because you had experience doing something like that in the military, and you have a good base knowledge of it, because you have to.
You have a distinguished service cross, so yeah, you're pretty much the master of it.
I was recognized. That's the thing. Like, just, I wouldn't say that having a distinguished service cross made me good at anything. I reacted, and someone recognized me for it.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of guys out there that didn't get that.
No, a lot.
At all.
Yeah.
That have continually just put the time in every single day, and continue to not get recognized for it.
Yeah.
My situation was very significant, so I feel like if they didn't recognize someone for that, that would be probably looked down upon.
It'd be a shame. Yeah.
Looked down upon, probably. So it was just a significant thing, that happened. I want to say that makes me better or anything. It was just, I just was where I was at, and I happened to be the one that was there. And that's it. I wouldn't think it would be any different if it was anyone else from my unit.
Yeah. I don't know. You're like one of maybe 1,000, maybe 10,000, whatever. There's not a whole lot in this country that have a Navy Cross or an Air Force Cross or a Distinguished Service Cross. Very, very small pool of people.
There's not very many.
Yeah. And in EOD, I don't personally. I know a guy named Paul Horton who has the DOD's record for Purple Hearts, and it's like 8. And whatever it is. And somewhat jokingly, but I asked him once, like, Paul, did you ever consider like that you're not good at your job? And like that's a lot of explosions, bro. But when you walk up onto a bomb or an IED or a booby trap or whatever this thing is, like it's always is it always non-conventional? Is there always ingenuity? Like, do you somehow pay respect to the bomb maker in your own mind? Like, that was a clever ass bomb, dude. Like, you almost got us. There's gotta be like a little bit of cat and mouse.
There could be some amount of that, but it's like you're never gonna know until you unfold it.
Yeah.
You know, you're never gonna know until you get the particulars of it, and sometimes you're never gonna get that.
It's not like on TV you're clipping red wire or green wire, blah blah blah. No.
I wouldn't say no. It's not necessarily like that.
Yeah.
Because they could be all green or they could be all red. You know,
Yeah.
you have to look where if this wire goes from here to there, or sometimes it just goes into a processor. You have no idea where anything goes.
But Tom Cruise always clipped the red wire, and it
I
worked out.
I see you cut both of them at the same time with shock tube cutters.
You have?
No, but that was a joke. I actually said that to Admiral McCraven one time, but
Repeat it? Could cut them both at the same time?
So after that incident in 2013, Admiral McCraven came out and was talking with us, and there were some, people from the Rangers who was asking some really good questions, and so we were done with questions for the day, and I was kind of like standing on the sidelines with the other people that were standing there with me, and he kind of called me out and he said, EOD, you got any questions? EOD, what wire do I cut, the red one or the blue one? I said, you cut them both, sir, at the same time with shock tube cutters. He laughed. Coincidentally, the Ranger battalion commander did not think that was hilarious.
No,
he did not, but I did.
Yeah. I mean, the Admiral got a laugh.
He did get a laugh.
Yeah,
he's a pretty down-to-earth guy.
They're people.
Yeah, they are people. That's the kind of, there was maybe some...
The Colonel loses sight of the fact that the Admiral is a person.
I mean, he lost sight of the fact about the Rangers, they do pride themselves on esprit de corps, care of equipment, like all this stuff in the Ranger Creed, but like your ability to address a superior officer, their customs and courtesies, they take that very seriously. So if you're talking to an admiral or a general or any kind of high-ranking officer, you're doing that from the position of attention.
Yeah.
And I did not do that.
No.
I kind of like... that's not really like one of the things that I cared about the most, like
I get it.
I care about my job and I care about keeping people safe, and I kind of like pick and choose when I care about things like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say that. I feel like that sounds stupid, but
no,
I really
that's
really enjoyed working with the Rangers. There was I could not pick a better group of guys to work with. They're just aggressive, they're savages, they are loyal, they are the most hardworking people I've been around.
Yeah.
I mean, they take so much pride in where they're at, they take so much pride in their job, their community, their Ranger battalion.
Yeah.
And I love being around them, man. It's nice to be around people that want to be there versus being stuck somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you. Damn. So, transitioning to your art, you use explosives to create art, right? Like,
yeah, there was.
Talk me through that.
There was some. So one of the minor deployments in 2016, I had the ability to improvise some art while I was overseas, and this is something I would like to do stateside. I'm running into a couple snags here because it's just me working on it, and
it's explosives.
And it's explosives, so there's like some red tape there.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to work through it. But I think that it would be a really awesome opportunity to be able to bring art and explosives into the same place.
I'd love to see it, man.
I have some really cool stuff that I've made, but I really would like looking at like the science behind it. There's a lot of stuff that I want to test out, and I think it would be really cool.
I personally think, you know, when I think about service members that this country is trained to do a specific job and then chokehold them later from doing it, I often think of EOD, and I think we've taught some of our most intelligent human beings in this country to both disarm and arm explosives.
Yep.
And then we send them out there in the civilian world. So if you find a way through art to channel that, and I don't want to say it could be a lot worse, but there's a lot of harm you can do with your skills.
Yeah.
And you choose to channel it through art, like, and you've been shot all the way through your upper torso, and you've earned a Distinguished Service Cross. I think it's time for you to be able to allow them to make that art. Like,
yeah, I think so too. But more importantly, I think it would be a great opportunity to give back to the community. You know, there's like so many people who have been in a significant scenario where their life has been changed drastically from an explosive event, you know, and a lot of times, I would say a significant amount of times that's a negative impact that it has, like a really negative impact that it has on their life. So to be able to take that kind of like take the whole purpose of what created that negative impact and then channel that to something positive, like using those explosives that maimed them or impacted their life negatively. Kind of transition that around to use those same explosives to make art that they could take home and display proudly in their home. So I feel like it's kind of like a good way to bring it full circle but we're just still, I don't know, we're not there yet.
How do we get you forward?
I don't know, man. I guess I'm working. It's me by myself, and I'm battling TBI stuff. So it's like I need to find a place to do it. And then all the credential stuff, you know. So it's like if I've gone through the county, and so I need land. I need a place to do it, and if it's not my primary residence, then it has to be like a business ran. So I have to have a parking lot and all the other things that
run up the red flag.
Yeah. So it's like I'm gonna need financing before I can even get started on it, and like no one's gonna finance me. So
I don't know.
I don't want to say no one, but like
you just need the right person to hear it.
Sure.
There's so many soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, on and on and on that have been maimed or killed by IEDs that I think the person's out there, but they just need to hear your story.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like in a weird place with it too, because it's like I don't necessarily want the word to get out about it, because I feel like someone else with more resources than me will go ahead
and take it. Yeah, I gotcha.
So like, it can't be that hard, but it's not, and it's really not that hard to make the art with the explosives. You just need to have the ability to do it. You know, like have the ability to get this specific explosive and make it cost effective. That's the thing. That's the thing about it too, is cost.
Yeah.
You know, like you could spend $2,500 on a 20 pounds of explosives that only make 3 pieces or 4 pieces.
Yeah.
Maybe like that's stretching it a little bit. I could probably make like 10
much more
or
expensive
10
than
or
paint.
12.
Much more expensive than paint.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So like the medium that I'm like choosing to work with is like more difficult.
Stupid expensive.
Yeah. But if there was a way to make it, if there was a way to make it yourself, you know, like if there's a way to come up with ways that I could do it all in-house and cut costs, it would be beneficial. But
the pathway to UXOs is probably not easily attained. I think about an artist in London who somehow got all of the knives associated with knife crimes in England for like 10 years and made a sculpture out of it. Like, and I don't know the pathway, like how do you get all of these knives released from, I mean, evidence,
Yeah.
essentially,
Yeah.
to make a sculpture? I don't know, but I feel like there's
There's a will, there's a way,
there's plenty of freaking
Yeah.
pressure cooker Boston bombers out there that, like, you know, far too many, and they don't know what they're doing.
man. You're right.
They don't.
Right. No, for sure.
And I feel like there's a pathway there.
I do too.
I feel like George Bush Jr.
Yeah.
with his portraits, like, that's the guy. He has a massive ranch in Texas. Bring you out there, let you blow shit up, and make art from it.
Yeah. I mean, like, going to someone's property and everything, that's great. I can do that, you know. It's like, but how do like, because I need the licensing. Like, anyone can just get explosives, you know, if they have enough money. They know guys that can just, oh, hey, bring this over to my property and do that, make it happen. And people will do that.
Yeah.
Legit, like, you know, they'll do it legitimately. But
Like deck cord and shit, or
I don't need any deck cord. It's just blasting caps and this explosives. That's all.
that's it.
But like I need to figure out the pathway to be able to do it legitimately myself.
Yeah.
You know, like in the place that I choose to do it. You know, because like eventually I would like to have the place on my property. You know, like my buddy has some property out here that I'm looking at maybe moving my RMAG to, so I can maybe get it going out there.
Yeah.
It's not a primary residence, so we'll still have to do the business stuff. We have to have a parking lot,
Yeah.
and parking spot, any kind of structure. So we're just have to work through all that stuff, and it's going to be a lot of red tape. Yeah.
But in Afghanistan, you just walk up on it and you assess it and you diffuse it or detonate it or whatever you need to do to make it go away.
Yeah, it depends. The job so like conventional versus the direct action job is really like. For a lot of years, they looked at the 28th, my unit, as like not really EOD techs because we didn't actually go through and render safe any IEDs. It was like, for the most part, if we found something, we were marking it and then we were just leaving it there.
Yeah.
Because depending on our mission, did not like really permit any kind of action on that device right there. So. Depends on where you're at in the mission. Like if you're on infill and you find an IED, you're not going to get rid of it. You're not going to blow it up because then now everyone knows you're there.
Yeah,
They know exactly where you're at.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So like there's just a lot of intricacies that go along with that, whether or not, you know, you can deal with something right then or there. But a lot of times, like with the direct action mindset, you're just marking bypass stuff, you know, like you're going around stuff, you're staying away from it, like, hey, tell the ranger, don't go down that way, there's something down there, don't go over here, don't use that breach, you know, kind of stuff. So and then we're visually marking things with chem lights and tape or engineer tape or whatever we have, but just to make sure that people are aware of the threat. We're calling up on the radio, people are aware of the threat, they stay away from it.
Yeah.
A little bit different than going in there and rendering it safe. You know, you're like, hey, we got our robot, we got our bomb suit, you know, like we got all these a giant truck that is up armored.
Yeah.
You know, like we have all these tools at our disposal. With the Rangers or any kind of direct action role that you're filling as a EOD technician, you have what you can carry on your back.
Yeah.
You know, like you could take a robot if you want to carry it.
That's a lot of fucking weight, man.
They have smaller robots, you know, but it's like
with your M4 and all your ammo and your MREs and your.
I was already weighing like an extra 100 pounds going out on target, you know, so with all my gear. So throwing a robot on top of that, and then all the equipment that is, you know, associated with that. There were some times I was going out there like over 100, 130 plus pounds. You know, I'm carrying the 80-liter bag too, and all my EOD gear.
Shit.
You know, I was carrying a Skidco bag with all the first aid stuff in it. You know, because that's what we had to do.
Yeah.
You know, and all my EOD gear, metal detector and all my explosives, all my tools that I have. So,
Damn.
got to be in shape.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, fuck, I'm just gonna ask, man. All right, high school student, thinking about going into the Army, thinking about a Ranger, thinking about EOD. What advice would you have to one of these guys or girls?
One thing that I like to say, um, I think my mom was married to a guy when I was younger that was my old stepdad. He just felt it was important to learn something new every day. So that's kind of like what he, learn something new every day. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like something to strive for. If you're not gaining more knowledge, then you're not progressing.
Yeah.
You're just not.
You're stagnant.
Like
yeah.
I feel like where we're at in this earth is like we're all about information, like processing information, ebbs and flows of information. It's like and knowledge. Like the more knowledge you have, knowledge is power. Try to learn something new every day. Make it a point to learn something new every day. Another thing that I would say is that from me personally, like a quote or whatever that I came up with, or maybe just something significant that I would like to say is that like never let your mind be a limiting factor. Never let your mind be a limiting factor. Your body is way more capable than you'll give it credit for.
Yeah.
Your body's going to go way further than your mind will give up way before your body.
Oh,
will,
yeah.
You know, so never let your mind be a limiting factor for what you can accomplish. Your body is going to be way more capable and going to continue to push way after your mind is given up.
Yeah. That's powerful. I think everyone out there in this world can relate to that because it is always the mind. It's when we call quits, it's mental.
Yeah.
Very rarely physical.
So one thing that I like to do is set micro goals for myself, in different things. It's like we always hated doing PT. You always, always hated ruck marches and just different stuff, So it's,
I still hate it. Yeah.
Like find a micro goal for yourself, like, hey, I'll run to the next light pole and then I'll walk for a little bit, give me that little bit.
Yeah.
But when you get to that next light pole,
Run again.
Hey, run to the next light pole. Run to the next light pole. Like don't start walking. That's the whole point. Is to like you get to that point and then you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'll make it to the next one. Oh, that wasn't so bad. I'll make it to the next one. And like if you continue to put yourself in and think like that in those ways every single day, you'll find yourself being able to push through even the hard stuff with simplicity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when you get to a situation that seems tough, it's like you already know what to do.
Yeah.
Because you've been there, you trained it, you know how much things suck.
Yeah. Yeah. Push through.
Yeah. I would say that like if you're looking at, I'd say like being miserable. And when I was growing up and I was like miserable, but I was like the perfect opportunity for me to learn more about myself. Like if you think about that in like a pendulum or like a metronome, kind of like if you had experienced like this much miserableness, then you can experience this much happiness if you allow yourself. But if it's your experience is relative to you, it's significant to you.
Pendulum can swing to extremes, or it could swing pretty near to center.
So
right?
I mean, like a lot of people will come up to me and say like, "You've been through so much. I don't want to complain about stubbing my toe because it seems insignificant to what you've been through." And I try to tell people like, that's not the case at all. Like you may have stubbed your toe, and that might be the most extreme thing that you've ever been through. To you, stubbing your toe is just like me getting shot in the chest to you, because that's what you have in your experience. You know, like I can definitively say when I go to the hospital, like I have a 3 for pain because I know what it feels like to get shot.
Yeah.
How I did.
Yeah.
So I can say like right now my pain is at a 3 or 4.
Yeah.
You know, from a like 0 to bullet through my chest kind of like thing.
Yeah. It's very grounding.
So you know, like I want to say like don't discount your personal experiences because someone else has been through something more significant. Those experiences are significant to you, and you should cherish them. You should hold on to those, man, because they're your experiences.
Yeah.
Those are what taught you to be who you are right now.
Yeah.
And those experiences are going to be the ones that drive you to who you're going to be in the future.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Thanks.
It's genuine too.
Thank you.
I see it in your eyes, man. You're a good
I really
dude.
believe it, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
Any final words? Anything you want to?
Learn something new every day, man. Like I said, learn something new every day. Just try to get out there. I mean, life is gonna suck. Every day, life is gonna suck, man.
Yeah.
And no one's gonna be there to say, hey, man, you need to do this or you need to do that. Like we are like, of course, there should be someone there to say that, but there might not be.
There might not be. Yeah.
And when there's no one there that's asking you to do that, you're gonna have to come up and do it yourself, man. And it's okay. It's okay to be down in the dumps, and it's okay to be hurting, but we need to do it together. You know, we need to be talking about our experiences and sharing stuff, because if we don't share our experiences, there could be someone right next to us that is going through the same thing as us, and they're not dealing with it as well as we did, or you're not dealing with something as well as someone else did, and we would never know if we're not sharing it. So like we need to talk about our experiences, share our experiences.
Yeah.
And come together as a community and continue to grow and develop as a unit together, you know, like, and I've been trying, like, I've made it a point so hard to like not worry, like not care about race and gender and sexual orientation and like all that stuff is just fluff. It doesn't fucking matter. You know, like we're fucking humans, we're people. Our experiences are unique to ourselves, you know, like at some point, you know, like something happened in someone's life that they feel so strongly about, like Trump being president or Biden being president or someone being in charge of the masses, you know, and it's like they allow that to, they feel so strongly about it that they feel like everyone else is wrong for what they have been through and what they've experienced, and they're not wrong. They just had a different experience than you know,
Exactly.
So that doesn't make them bad or wrong. That just makes it different. It makes you different.
Yeah.
You know, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know, we can still get from A to B and forget all, and like not have to worry about all the convoluted stuff in between.
Yeah. If you had the ear of a high school senior, girl or guy, thinking about joining you enter the service branch into EOD, what would you tell them? Like for a 18-year-old right now, young man or woman thinking about coming into Army EOD, what would you tell them? Or any EOD, what would you tell them?
Just strive to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Wake up every day and just try to be the best version of yourself that you can be. I mean, you're always going to have setbacks, but it depends on how you look at it. You know, you're going to have setbacks, but you can either feel bad for yourself or you can do something about it. You know, like you can learn how that set you back. You can learn how all the things about that impacted you the way that it did, and learn from it. Yeah. Learn from your mistakes. Learn from. I mean, like, I'm not telling you to not go do things. I'm not telling you to not experience things, but be careful about when you are experiencing things. We're just we're creatures, you know. We want to go out and experience. We want to do things and get outside of our comfort zone, or maybe stay inside of our comfort zone, or whatever. But we want to experience things, you know. So like, try not to give up so easily. You know, like you're gonna meet resistance everywhere you go. Yeah. Don't give up so easily, man. You know, like you really push through it a little bit and see where it goes, and then make a educated decision.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love you, man.
I love you, man. Appreciate it.
Wow, we're gonna hug.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank
Yeah,
you.
man. Why do you walk with a limp, by the way?
Because I got shot and paralyzed.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
So I have like muscle weakness. Like, there's still a lot of, like I'm walking, but there's still a lot of parts of my body I can't even feel.
Shit.
Yeah. So I actually use my eyesight for my balance, primarily.
I wasn't sure what
Yeah.
that was from.
It's really funny because I like honestly it's really funny, but even my own sister, she like I hadn't seen my sister in years, you know, like we don't live together. She's out in Utah or Nevada, and I was wearing pants when last time I saw her, and she's like, which leg did you lose? I'm like, I didn't lose any of my legs. She's like, why are you limping? I'm like, because I got shot and paralyzed, you know, kind of like things. So
Yeah.
but yeah, anyways, so I get people ask me about the limp, but honestly, like when I tell them everything that I've been through, they'll be like,
Holy fuck, yeah.
I did not think that you were going to tell me that.
You're lucky.
kind
You're
of thing, you know,
yeah.
like, I am extremely lucky to be here, extremely lucky to be alive, and extremely lucky to be walking around on my own 2 feet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you going up to Ohio in 2 months or whatever it is?
And I would love to. I needed to reach out to somebody to see if I
Rachel Prindle,
could. I wanted to reach out to someone to see if I could be a
ambassador.
I
Yeah.
don't know if it's too late for that.
I'll send Dave Hart a text.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know when the cutoff was. We're going back, not art this time. We're going back to do interviews, but
Okay. Cool.
Rachel is his niece, and yeah, one of those two. Both. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll send them both.
I'm down to help out however I can. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Right now, I'm kind of struggling to find balance with these grandsons that we've taken over. Like we were basically raising them. The mom is kind of like going through some issues right now. She's kind of figuring her stuff out. So we have taken responsibility of the two of her sons, and they live with us like full time. So it's kind of like my wife is working, and it's hard for me to get away because I'm basically like you asked about what to do when you get out like as a civilian, and I did contract for a little bit, but for the last year and a half I've been like a stay-at-home grandpa, which has been great, but it's also like.
Are you sure that's not gray? You said blonde.
It's around
I'm
here.
a grandpa.
Around here
This shit
is
ages
blonde.
you real quick.
There's some grays in there.
Yeah,
for sure.
because I see these little. Okay, in my case, is a little boy and a little girl, but I see them, and I just see threats everywhere, man. Talk about freaking UXOs or IEDs or blah blah blah. I see them everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to the grandkids.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Nah, I try not to be so like overwhelming over them. Like I wanted them to go.
Yeah.
I want them to
experience life.
Yeah, I want them to get hurt. And I want them to fall and run into shit and get banged up because I mean that's
don't put them in bubble wrap. Just kick them down the hill.
That's gonna happen through their whole life. They're gonna be stumbling and falling. You know, if we're bubble wrapping them right now, they're just gonna continue to be bubble wrapped. They're gonna, you know, like what's gonna happen when they really run into some shit.
Exactly.
When they're older, you know, and they see something for real.
Exactly.
And, how are they gonna react? You know, like freak out. I mean, just like completely just stop because they're so blown away. That's not the kind of.
At the end of my career, I was working in PAO. Like legit in Air Force Base, like legit. For the first time in my career, I was like working with the Air Force and a diplomacy mission at a proper Air Force base. There were some joint people around, but it was through and through Air Force. Mm-hmm. And we had these mandatory resiliency like training things. And I was sitting through one of them and I was just like, oh my God, another PowerPoint of resiliency. You know, the first time I got resilient? When I asked a girl on a date and she said no. Another time I got resilient is when I mouthed off to the wrong guy and he fucking bloodied my lip.
Yeah, dude.
It's like life experiences. Like you can't sit and like, whether that's emotional or physical pain, you can't simulate it in a briefing.
Yeah, and there's no way, man.
Yeah.
You just have to go through it, man.
Got to, man.
And so, I don't know. It's been a. I would say it's been fruitful. You know, it's been a good. It's been a good thing. You know, those boys that really didn't. There's been a lot of really good changes I've seen in them since we've had them, and I'm excited about to see where it goes. You know, I think they're smart kids. They're beautiful little boys. You know, like they're just they have everything going for them.
Yeah.
I just want to see what they decide to do with it.
Yeah. Sorry to pull you away, man.
No, you're good, man.
Yeah. Can I buy you lunch?
Sure.
All right, let's do that.